So I'll just right click, take a Niagara from the template. I'll take a fountain, finish, and I'll just open this. So we have this fountain. First thing, I'll just go to preview setting, and in the environment, I'll not use environment. Instead, I'll just use this dark gray color, so it will be easier to see. So basically in this tutorial, because in previous tutorial we checked the spawn rate, now we will check other spawn modules. So you can just delete that in this button, or you can just right click on this module and insert the below or above, and you can just click here. So you can go to spawning, and we have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Spawn rate is clear. So next is my first spawn burst instantaneous. So I'll just click and see the one particle spawning, because if you select this in the settings, spawn count is 1. You can make it 100 and it will spawn 100 particles. What is the difference from the spawn rate? Is spawn rate is continuously spawning particle per second, but spawn burst is spawning the given number of particles on the very first frame. It's just spawn all these number of particles on very first frame. See, it will just spawn once. Okay, it is very useful when you make some particle effect where you shooting particle for once, like an impact effects or like a spark or anything. Okay, so it is very useful for that. So this is number you can increase or decrease like this. Then the next option is spawn time, and this is actually a delay of spawn that you can also do from here, but this is useful because it reflects here. You can see that white square thing, diamond thing. This is the key. Because it is 0, it is placed on 0. If you increase it 1, you can see this is now here. You can move it from here also. You can move it here, or you move it here. Okay, it will work the same. You can see the values change. Now it's not spawning the particle on 0 frame. It will spawn the particle when my time slider will hit this point. Cool. But keep in mind, it should not be greater than the given duration. So if you have duration 1 and you put this value 1.2, now the particle will not spawn. It should be below the 1. Okay, I think 1 will also work. No, 1 will not work. It should be below the 1. Even it is like 0.9, it will spawn. Okay, so you can increase this if you want, then you can spawn it anytime. You can also use delay here. So if you have this 1 and you can put the delay 1, still particle will spawn with it 1 second delay. See, now this full time slider is from starting from 1. You can see that empty area here, because if I'll make this 0, it is here. If I make this 1, it will move, and you can manually move it also. Okay, so it will change this value here. The next thing is probability, which we have already cleared in our spawn rate, but this is just a multiplier of this. So if you have 100 particle and probability is 1, 1 multiply 100, it will spawn 100 particle. If this is 0.5, 100 multiply 0.5, it will spawn only 50 particles. So you can decrease it like 0.2, and it will, it's kind of not working. Let me just check if I make it. It's kind of look like it's broke. It's actually, this is what is you can see this, a value of 0.5 can be viewed as 50% chance of burst figure. Okay. 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 Actually, in the spawn rate, it was multiplier with the spawn rate, but in here, it is a chance of probability of like spawning these 100 particles. So 20% chance if it will spawn or not.
So it will be better understand if you make the loop duration very low, and now particles spawning back to back. And if this is 100% chance they are spawning back to back, but if you make this 0.2, so there are very few chance, sometimes they will not spawn, sometimes they will spawn. So this is not like a spawn rate they have changed in 5.3. This is Unreal 5.3. Okay. So before in previous versions, it was like not that, I think. So this is actually chances if particle will spawn or not. Then it is the spawn group that we have already cleared. Let me also explain it again. So I'll just make. So you have the spawn group 0, and in any shape given here, if you go down, there is a spawn group which is using the same. So if this is 0 and this is 0, it will use that spawn burst. If you have a spawn burst, copy and paste second, and you make the spawn group 1. Now you have to duplicate this shape and make this spawn group 1. And if I offset this shape little bit like on X, see now we have two particle spawn burst. So spawn rate you can link with any shape, which shape it should take with using spawn group. So that is very useful. And you can decrease the spawn particle in one and it is higher in other. Clear? So the last is spawn count, that is also useful. This is how many spawn counts you want. So like if you have this if you have this infinite or you have this once, so it will just spawn once in this given duration. But if you want, you can increase here 5. I think you need to make it in. Let me check. This is actually a new thing. This is actually a new thing in UE5.3. Tonight, yeah. So now if this is 0, party will keep spawning every like 0.1 duration. Let me turn this off. And if you turn this on, you put 1, particle spawn once. If you make it 2, particle spawn 2. If you make it like 10, particle spawn 10 times and then it will spawn and it will stop. Very useful if you want. So these are the all options in the spawn burst. Some were like new in UE 5.3 that I just figured it out like this one. Okay. So I hope you like it. Thanks. Bye.